Imagine a world where the most dangerous people aren't those with malicious intent, but those who believe, with absolute certainty, that they hold all the right answers. It's not just arrogance, it's a dangerous form of ignorance that blinds people to the complexities of reality. Throughout history, more harm has been inflicted not by evil masterminds, but by individuals so convinced of their own correctness that they fail to question their own assumptions. This idea was deeply understood by the ancient Greeks, who recognized that the true peril of society wasn't just malice, it was incompetence. They had a word for the wisdom necessary to navigate life successfully: phronesis, a form of practical intelligence that enables a person to balance different perspectives and make sound decisions. Unfortunately, many people today lack this quality, and as a result, stupidity has become more prevalent and more dangerous than ever. The certainty trap. Why the overconfident are the most foolish. What makes someone truly foolish? It's not a lack of knowledge, but rather the unwavering belief that they already know everything. The people who claim to have all the answers, who confidently assert their views without question, are often the ones who know the least. And yet, they are also the ones who wield the most influence, whether in politics, social media, or even within our personal circles. The problem isn't just that they are wrong, it's that their certainty prevents them from even considering the possibility that they might be mistaken. They latch onto ideas, not ones they've reasoned through themselves, but concepts they've absorbed from external sources. A tweet, a viral post, a catchy slogan. These become their truths, guiding them like a narrow railway track, while the vast landscape of reality remains unseen. The world is complex, full of contradictions and nuances, but they refuse to acknowledge it. The historical consequences of overconfidence. History provides countless examples of leaders whose unshakable certainty led to disastrous consequences. One of the most famous examples is the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. At the height of Athenian democracy, the leaders of Athens, blinded by their arrogance, believed that victory in Sicily would be effortless. They were so convinced of their superiority that they failed to consider the risks and complexities of their military strategy. The result? A catastrophic defeat that ultimately contributed to the downfall of Athenian democracy. Thucydides, the historian who chronicled this war, warned that such blind certainty leads to ruin. The leaders were not evil. They were simply so sure of their plans that they ignored any evidence that contradicted them. And this isn't just a lesson from ancient history. We see the same patterns in modern governments, where leaders make impulsive decisions without considering long-term consequences, leading to wars, economic crises, and social unrest. One of the most dangerous combinations in society is stupidity paired with authority. When foolish individuals gain power, their decisions don't just affect them, they impact entire nations, economies, and generations. These individuals operate under the illusion of certainty, making rash choices without thorough analysis. Unlike malicious leaders, who may at least have strategic motives, foolish leaders act impulsively, unaware of the full scope of their actions. This isn't to say that evil does not exist, but consider this. How many times has incompetence led to devastation compared to intentional malice? Corrupt leaders may manipulate people for their own gain, but it is often the misguided, unthinking leaders, those who act without foresight, who create the most destruction. When people in power fail to critically assess their decisions, entire societies suffer. Stupidity doesn't just exist on an individual level, it thrives in groups. Social psychology has long studied the phenomenon of groupthink, where individuals suppress their doubts and conform to the majority opinion, even when they know it's wrong. A famous example is the 1951 Asch conformity experiment, where participants were asked to compare line lengths. When actors in the experiment intentionally gave incorrect answers, 75% of participants followed the group, despite knowing the answer was wrong. This tendency to conform allows misinformation and foolish ideas to spread unchecked. It's why false narratives persist, why people refuse to question their beliefs, and why societies fall victim to mass hysteria. In a world where social media amplifies misinformation, this problem has only worsened. Instead of seeking truth, people seek validation. aligning themselves with whatever viewpoint makes them feel secure. If certainty is the root of foolishness, then doubt is the key to wisdom. The ability to entertain multiple perspectives, to hold two seemingly contradictory ideas in one's mind, without immediately rejecting one, is essential for true intelligence. This concept, known as negative capability, was coined by the poet John Keats. He admired Shakespeare for his ability to create complex characters, people who were neither wholly good nor entirely evil, but deeply human. Shakespeare's brilliance lay in his understanding of human nature. He didn't reduce people to one-dimensional figures. He acknowledged their contradictions. This is what real thinking requires: the capacity to see the world in shades of gray rather than in rigid black and white terms. The courage to question. In a society dominated by misinformation, the act of thinking critically is a revolutionary act. It requires the courage to question what you're told, to challenge your own beliefs, and to resist the pressure to conform. True independence of thought means refusing to be swayed by slogans, propaganda, or the loudest voices in the room. Many people find comfort in certainty because it simplifies the world. But reality is not simple. It is complex, messy, and often contradictory. Embracing that complexity is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of intelligence. Taking responsibility for our thoughts and actions is not just a personal duty. It's a moral imperative. It's easy to follow the crowd, to accept what we're told, and to go along with prevailing narratives. But true wisdom requires effort. It means questioning our own assumptions, seeking out diverse perspectives, and making decisions based on careful analysis rather than impulsive certainty. So, how do we combat the cycle of stupidity? Encourage doubt. Instead of clinging to certainty, remain open to new perspectives. Question everything, even your own beliefs. Seek reliable information. Don't accept something as true just because it aligns with your worldview. Research, verify, and critically analyze information before accepting it. 1. Resist groupthink. Have the courage to stand against the majority when necessary. Don't let peer pressure dictate your beliefs. 2. Embrace complexity. The world isn't black and white. Accepting nuance is a sign of intelligence, not indecisiveness. The world doesn't need more people who are certain. They need more people who are willing to think. In an era where misinformation spreads like wildfire, the responsibility falls on each of us to rise above blind conformity and embrace independent thought. The choice is yours. Remain trapped in the illusion of certainty or step into the reality of complexity. Choose wisely.